Today's emulation video, I will be making it on the Sharp X1 computer. So this computer was released in 1982 in Japan, and it costs about 155 yen. It's about $622.34 in US dollars, and today's money, it's about $1,960.37. It was released in 1982 and it was discontinued in 1988, and there are many different variants of it. For media, it came with a cassette and floppy disk, I think 5.25-inch floppy disks, drives, and it came with a Sharp Z80A CPU, all models. So this is based on a Zilog 80 chip. It was used on many different types of home computers and video game systems. Like for video for computers, it was used in 85 computers. I'm only going to list the ones that were the most popular, like the Amstrad CPC, Amstrad PCW, the Coleco Atom, Commodore 128, MSX, NEC PC 6000 to the NEC PC 8800 series, the ZX Spectrum, ZX81. As for video game systems, there were about 10 video game consoles that used it. The most popular was the Amstrad GX 4000, Bailey Astrocade, BBC Bridge Companion, Daewoo ZimMax, Nintendo Game Boy Color, Sega Master System, and Sega SG-1000. I think that was kind of like a Sega's video game console, which was released in Japan. This was released in the United States as a Sega Master System. I'm not sure if these are different or not, but all I know is this one was only released in Japan. As for the RAM, it came with 64 KB of RAM. And in later models, I think some models came with 128 KB of RAM. VRAM was anywhere from 4 kilobytes to 48 kilobytes storage. Tape with 5.25-inch floppy disk drives. Operating system was Who Basic and CPM. Video was about 640 by 480 at 8 colors out of a platelet of 4096 colors. You had other resolutions as well, like 640 by 1920, 192, 320 by 200. All this was 8 colors only. Text modules was 80 by 40 by 80, 25. Audio chip was General Instruments AY38910, and this was Yamaha also made the same variant called the Yamaha YM2149. This was used in other computers and computers at the time, like MSX and stuff like that. And then later models came with the YM2151 sound chip. This was capable of 3 voices PSG, 8 octave, 3 chords ports. It had 2 I/O ports, 2 joystick ports. I think the Atari interface type model or Sega Master System interface model. Audio out, keyboard, printer port. There were many different variants, like the Sharp X1, which was the first variant. We also had the Sharp X1 Turbo 3, Sharp X1 Turbo Z11, Z11 with 128 kilobytes of RAM. And you had other variants like the X1 series lineage with 10 versions, Sharp X1 Turbo series with 6 versions, Sharp X1 Turbo Z series with 4 versions. These are how these computers look like. They came in different colors and different models. This is this is original Sharp X1. This is how it looked like. Came with a cassette player. This is a Sharp X1 Turbo. This is black with 2 floppy disk drives. This is a brochure for Sharp X1, I think the original one. The cassette drive is here on the top. Looks very durable and came in different colors, as you can see, in red and gray. And this is Sharp X1 Turbo, which looks like a standard pizza case computer from, I guess, the late 1980s. I guess even in 1982, it kind of looks like a pizza top computer. With that being the computer, I'm not sure. I think that is the computer. This is just a keyboard. This looks more like a traditional type of computer from the early 1980s, like a Commodore 64, ZX Spectrum, MSX, or something like that. Atari 800. So you had, as time went by, it looked like this to looking more like that in 1988. So as for the emulators, you could get them on this URL. I'll leave this in the video descriptions below. You could download this. Just download that. It's about 44.8 megabytes. You could get all the software here on this URL. It's a pretty large file at 891.6 megabytes. Download that. It's going to take a couple of minutes. Let's begin. I'm going to make a folder called, I don't think the X1, Sharp X1 was a success or anything because it was competing against other computers like the MSX and NEC PC 88 series of computers, which did very well. So I don't think Sharp was a success. The X1 wasn't a success, but there was also a successor to the computer called the Sharp X68000, which used the Motorola 68000 chip. Anyways, I'm gonna open this with 7-zip. If you don't have it already, you can go get yourself a copy of 7-zip. I'll leave it in the video description below if you're interested. Extract it here. Extract it. Okay. I don't want all of this. I just want the X1. This has a lot of other emulators for different types of Japanese computers. I don't want all of it. I just want Sharp X1. That's all I want. Put it in there just like that. So all of these emulators have BIOS files in them, so you don't have to get BIOS files individually. So let's get some of the games. FD means floppy disk. So those are floppy disk programs. You also have some other type of files. Mario Brothers. CT is some kind of is tape, I think. I think they have Gradius here as well. That's a game that I know. Floppy disk. There's different variants. Hang on. Now that's a game that I know. I think they had a version of Super Mario Brothers for this computer. Let me see. Mario Special. These extra files, there's nothing inside of it, so don't even bother downloading it. Punchball Mario. I know that. Some of the other games I don't even know because they were only released in Japan. This was a computer that was only released in Japan, so stuff I don't even know. Got Super Mario here. Got a tape format and floppy disks, different types of floppy disks. I think they have Excite Bike that was released for the Nintendo Entertainment System as well. Galaga, that's a game that I know. Excite Bike. Like that game is only in tape file. They have Lloyd Runner. Yeah, I think that's it. So a folder here called Games. Make one called Tapes and Discs. Floppy disks. 7-zip. First I'm gonna Separate these out. Okay. Gotta get the links. Get all that. Send it all there. Here, floppy disks. Got all the tapes. Okay, good. Close that. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to run this emulator first. Actually, I'll run this one first. The Xmil.106. You could set the dip switch to the type of media that you want. You should set it to boot 2D, because most of the Sharp X1 programs are 2D. I'm going to eject everything from here, and I'm going to load a floppy disk. If you want to go to full screen, it's right here. Just go to full screen. I'm not going to do it because my DVR has some problems with this. But if you want to go to full screen, you can go right there. You can switch it to 80 width. I think that's for higher resolution. Should be at 40 width with 40 by default. Let me load a disk and show you what kind of disk this thing can run and what kind of disk it cannot run. It could run a .2D disk like this. Just press reset. Should be able to load this game. As for the controls, just set it to this joy key. The action buttons are Z and X, and to move it's just your arrow keys. You could also change the speed by going to here and making it faster or whatever. Okay. Let me load a tape disk now. What you do here is you eject that, because the first device it's going to try to find is a floppy disk. So you got to eject it if you want to use a tape drive. try that. So that's too damn fast. 4 megahertz is right. Okay. That's how you load tapes. I'm gonna check that. Try to load another type of floppy disk file, a .d88. I'm gonna see if this works or not. Obviously doesn't work on this emulator, but it does work on this one, the Xmil.to. Start that up. Load Dexter again. On this emulator, that floppy disk format works. On the other one, does not work. Okay, so that does work. There's no way to change the frequency here. It's 8 megahertz is like the maximum or something. Go back here. For 2-disc games, you could load one here and one there. So 2 discs. Right now the control's not working. I gotta set it to joy key to use it. And again, it's X and Z for action buttons, and it's your arrow keys to move, basically. Let me try something else. Show you the capabilities of this machine. Try to load that. Super Mario Brothers. Restart. Floppy disks, tape drives took a long time to load. You have to rewind and fast forward and stuff like that. So it took minutes to load a floppy disk program back in the early 1980s. Try loading this one. As you can see in the top right corner, it's like fast rewinding the tracks and stuff like that. Okay, let me get out of here. Check. Try to run Super Mario Brothers on a disk. There's no sound. Let's try. See which machine that's on. It's on a turbo. Okay. Let me go back and see which machine that was on. Try this instead. Another machine. Okay, it does work for ZX1. It's very slow, as you can see. Let's change the frequency. As you can see when it's scrolling, it's not as smooth as a Nintendo Entertainment version. It's like, whoops, okay, that's it. So I guess sound does work, but you do have to change the machine or the firmware. I think that's it for this video. Pretty much it. And full screen, you just go here and use full screen if you want. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions, you could leave it in the comment section. I'll leave all the URLs for where you can find all the files. And thanks for watching.